I was fortunate enough to come from a very affluent family. So, it wasn't a struggle in the real sense, but just like many fathers in this country, they want their sons to play cricket. My father wanted me to play the sport. When I was young in school, I went to St. Xavier's College, St. Xavier's School. I don't know if there's anybody from Kolkata here will understand. There are a few. So St. Xavier's School was one of the most prominent schools in Calcutta at that time. And I went to that school, so never had to worry about anything. But my father was obsessed with me playing the sport. Born and brought up in a family where mother wanted to study, typical Bengali mum, where books and history and geography and mathematics was very important. But for my father, that cricket bat was very important. So it wasn't a struggle, it was just a young boy wanting to do what he wants. Wanting to play the sport at the age of 14 or 15 or 16. You never thought that someday you'll play for India, you'll go on to captain India for more than 200 games and then finish a career, which, when somebody said at the age of 14 that you'll play 450 games for the country, you would say that, no, you must be lying or you must be joking. So it's a process in life, and very similar to this, 43 years ago when this started, it just started with an initiative, with somebody, an employee working for someone, coming out and setting things up and then creating such an empire over a period of time. So sports works like that. You just got to keep playing, you just got to keep living that particular moment, that day, that match, that event, and prepare for the future. So you don't think too far ahead. And as a young boy then, I never thought so far ahead. I was happy playing the sport, played first class level, and then they thought me good enough to play for India. Got dropped for a while, which actually helped, because I was very young then. I was 17 when I got first picked, and then got dropped for 4 years. Went back to first class cricket, went back to the grind and understood what the game was, what the mental side of the game was, and came back as a better player. So sometimes getting dropped and getting rejected is not a bad thing at a very young age. So it was just an ambition to play for the country, and I believe in life everything is a process. You get into a profession with the mindset of achieving excellence at various stages and at various parts of your career, and sport was the same. Just kept playing and things started falling in place.
Incredible, Saurav, and it takes struggle, hard work, persistence, and it took you lifetime to set those goals and keep moving towards that, and so much that relates with the story of growth and development, the corporate social responsibility that we are celebrating here with you today. Saurav, since your debut, there wasn't any looking back, and I remember that those 3 consecutive centuries in Test cricket, and which is a unique world record as far as I know. What was it that made it happen, and how did it feel like from one to next?
What made it happen?
Next?
To be absolutely straight, I knew if I wouldn't get 100, I wouldn't play for India.
Wow!
So you had to be good enough to get what you want. It's a rule in life that if you want to have the best, you got to be the best, and that's what it was. The competition was enormous. So many people play the sport in this country, so many millions who want to play for the country, and then 11 only get picked. So if you slip down the ladder, getting back is a Herculean task in this country, because the sport is unbelievably popular. The talent of young cricketers in this country is unreal. You go to Delhi, you go to Bombay, you go to Bangalore, you go to Calcutta, you just see talents turning up one after the other. You should be on a Saturday morning in one of those streets of Calcutta, and you would see children with their kit bags on their father's bike, or mothers taking them, just obsessed with the sport. So it was that inner feeling and the inner truth which you knew that if you slipped, you won't play again. So when you got an opportunity, you make the most of it. So got 100, then got another one, and then got another one. So it just made me feel, I still remember the day when I got 100 at Lord's in 1996, and I went into a press conference, and the first thing the media asked me that, so you've proved people wrong. And the answer I said, and I really meant what I said that evening, I said, I didn't prove anybody wrong. I just proved to myself that I was good enough at this level.
Wonderful.
So when you when you compete at the top level, the most important thing what you need to install in yourself, that you will be successful at the top, which comes with belief. And it's similar in the corporate world. When this organization started and to where it is now, it cannot happen without hard work and belief. It cannot happen without vision. Change, improvement, attaining, I would say, great heights, and attaining perfection doesn't happen without vision. And whether it's sport, whether it's business, it's that's the way to go forward. Just live for the day, work hard for the day, but your eyes should be to become the best.
And those are such important insights, Saurav. It's like, be it any sector, it takes that passion and your own standards, and then keeping to those standards is what it takes, the success demands. You brought in the concept of Team India for the first time. There was this whole concept, and you transformed the way the world looked at Indian cricket. You formulated this team which has professionalism, which also had the aggression which was needed in those times, still needed, the confidence, and then the team was just, success after success. What kind of leadership does it take, and how that leadership can be instilled across?
When I first became captain in the year 1999, when Sachin gave up, nobody from Bengal ever captained before that. So as they appointed me captain, I was very happy, which just goes without saying. To be fortunate enough to lead your country is probably the best feeling for any athlete or any sportsman. But at the same time, I had a huge complex or a thought process in me saying that you're the only captain from a part of the country where not many people led the country. When I grew up, you saw players from Bombay captaining India, players from Delhi captaining India, players from Bangalore captaining India, Karnataka, but not many from Bengal. So there was a tremendous desire in me to gain respect among the people I played. It should not be a feeling that after a couple of months, after a year, they said, "Yaar, ye to ban gaya tha, lekin isme dam nahi tha." So that feeling was deep inside me, and I wanted to stand up among all the champions I led. Imagine my first team meeting. I walked in Cochin, and my wife had come because it was my first match as captain. And I walked into a room which had Sachin, which had Azhar, which had Anil Kumble, which had Rahul Dravid, all who could have been captains on their own merit. That's how good they were. There were 3 former captains, whether it was Sachin and Azhar. So to get into that room and to ask those players to play the way you want is never easy. The first week, the first month, the first tour was never easy. When you sit and tell the best in the world that this is how I want you to play. So you had to get your standards up to that level, to go and tell them the next morning that this is what I demand of you of performance. They say the leaders work the hardest. This institution would not have been where it is if the man sitting in front would not have given everything he's had for the last 40 years. And it's the same. It's the same in sport. Maybe we deal with a smaller number of people, business and corporate, about 131,000 employees of HCL. So that's the the vision, or that's the magnanimity of this brand. But we deal with 20 coming from different parts of India, and not easy to deal with. So that's the way it was. It was a fierce desire for within me, so that people never said ki yaar, he's out of place. And then when I became captain, I used to see how Indians were treated abroad. Firstly, we are a very good team in India where the ball spun, and we had some great spinners over the years, the likes of Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh and Venkatpati Raju, who would just win you test matches. But when you went outside, they felt, they're a talented bunch. Sachin would get 100, Azhar would get 100, Ganguly would get 100, but India won't win. India is not strong enough to beat a series, to win a series from here. And that was the change you wanted to make. Not just the change within yourself, but the change in the way you went about playing cricket, the change in the way you you administered the people who you work with. You know, in a team sport, and as I said, we worked with 20. It's not just the captain who believes that we need to win. A team will only win if the rest 19 believe that we can win. And it's the same thing here. If this brand would not be successful if the remaining 1,30,000 people did not believe in this. So along with your skills as a batsman, along with your skills as a bowler, you had to get that installed in your teammates that, hey, listen, here we are to make a difference. Difference in terms of the way we played our sport, difference in terms of the way we trained, difference in terms of the way we went about our job, discipline. And when I say discipline, it's sporting discipline. I am a firm believer of sporting discipline, not someone who sleeps at 8 o'clock in the night and nicks the first delivery next morning. So it's about sporting discipline. And it was that fierce desire to do well. So, and as I said, I was fortunate enough to lead some wonderful players, wonderful human beings who themselves wanted a change, who along with me believed that Indian cricket needs to play this way. And that's how it happened.
It's the passion and it's, you know, the zeal to do best, better and better on that. And I think that's what it takes. Relating it with what happens in HCL grant, so many NGOs apply and they kind of, you know, write up their application to the best. And then the year next we again receive a better proposal from the same NGOs if they've not moved up. Just to let you know, SOURAV, we run a program called Sports for Change, which focuses on children from residing in slums of India because they have to live there because of certain circumstances that they are in, and we are trying to nurture talent from there. And perhaps that's where the country also needs to focus, the difference between the privileged and the underprivileged. So the talent is all across and we are trying to do our bit there. Moving on. There were those tough times such as Australia under Steve Waugh. And that was an era that these were, you know, there were these turning points. But then you turned it around and India decimated them on multiple occasions. Yeah. And that was the transformation. And how would you relate it with the transformation that is needed in India today?
You know, transformation and improvement and change happens when you play the best, when you compete with the best. And that 2001 trip against Australia when we beat them after being 1-0 down in the first test in Mumbai, and down in the first 3 days of the test match in Kolkata, which we went on to win on day 5, just completely changed the team. It's the belief that, you know, we could compete against the best and be the best. So that transformed the team completely. I always believe in shake-ups. You know, a lot of people say keep it going the way it's going. Why do you want to do things differently? But sometimes shake-ups are are good and important. It actually wakens you up and gets the best out of the people who you deal with. So we lost the first test in Mumbai, and no one believed that India had the ability to beat that Australian team under Waugh. They had beaten everybody around the world, whether it's in England, South Africa, Sri Lanka. They would just turn up and beat cricketing sides. They were so good. Not like the Australia now, but the Australia then. So you know, when I remember on day 3 of the test match in Kolkata, I was going back to the hotel and I was sitting with John Wright, my coach. He's a very good friend of mine, still a very good friend. I said, John, I think both our times are up. You know, we are down. Australia got 400. We had 190 all out in the first innings. We are following on. So let's try and do the best what we can in the next 2 test matches, because I don't see you and me together again after this series. Because either one will go, because you lose to Australia at home and I don't think you will be re-elected as captain. But things changed. You know, VVS Lakshman and Rahul Dravid was unbelievable. On the end of the day 4 at Eden Gardens, they were literally on drips. Because they batted for about 8 hours and India went on to get 600. I remember on the 5th day, just before tea, I was fielding at backward short leg and Steve flicked Harbhajan and I dropped him. It's straight in and straight out. So he turned around and said, I think with this you've lost the test and your captaincy. That's how competitive he was. So I didn't say much to him because I just dropped him and I thought he'll save this test match. The first ball after tea he came, he flicked again and he caught at backward short leg. The next ball after tea, and we went on to win the test match, and it just transformed Indian cricket because it was a miracle. A lot of people ask me, how did you win it? I said, I don't know, because I don't think I'll be able to win such a test match again. We won many more test matches after that, beat Australia in Australia, went on to win the next test match in Chennai, and lots of cricket after that. But that 5th day at Eden Gardens was an absolute miracle. And they say miracles don't happen, but I do believe miracles happen at times in life, and it actually changes. And it actually changes an organization and a team, and we never looked back after that. It was an enormous self-belief in that side. Hey, listen, we'll turn up in England, we'll turn up in Australia, we will beat them because we are quietly good. And that only happens when the people who you work with from within believe that they're good enough to win and good enough to make a difference. So I'm a firm believer in belief, in confidence, and trying to work hard to attain that.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's such an amazing, insight and motivation for our NGO captains coming in. Any last message you would want to give us today?
As I said, it's the NGOs have got selected through a very rigorous process. As Roshni said, over the last 6 months, through various processes, you had to apply, and there are 3 finalists. Congratulations to them. As Roshni said, it's on the basis of it's in the sector of education, environment, and health, if I'm right. So congratulations to all of you. Hopefully, what you receive tonight here will be used in a very good cause and make a difference. She spoke about making a difference, and HCL today will actually make a difference to the way you go about your job in the next 3 or 4 years. I was overhearing her say that they review it, how the money has been spent in the next 3 or 4 years, and try and make it even better. So congratulations to HCL. My sincere good wishes to them that in their CSR endeavor, they are managing to make such a massive difference to the lives of young boys and girls who come from various parts of India. The process itself makes it even more worthy, because it's from all over the country. It's not just that you pick at your whims and fancies. It's a proper process which decides who gets the CSR, and that's all I have to say. Hopefully you use it properly. My good wishes to you. Hopefully sports will also become a part of the CSR activity of HCL. And when I say sports, I don't mean cricket, because cricket, it's a blessed sport. The other sports, non-cricketing sports like athletics, like boxing, like swimming, running, triathlons, heptathlons. So many people come from the villages, from the rural parts of India, and just by sheer natural talent make a difference. And there are enormous examples of that, who just turn up knowing nothing, not even having shoes, and winning medals for the country. So hopefully there would be a difference made in that sector also. And as I said, just every morning you wake up, I believe in this, that you make your day worthwhile. You make your day, you turn up at work, you turn up at cricket, you turn up at office to make a difference. I think that should be the motto of every individual who work. And I see that in this institution. Otherwise, this could not have been created over a period of time. So once again, before I finish, I'm extremely honored to be here, extremely honored to be a part of such wonderful people, such successful people. And I sincerely wish that you keep growing, because when you grow, you just don't grow. You make a difference to a lot of people. So thank you so much, and have a good night.